Hello and welcome back to Chaosbane. So, between episodes, I managed to upgrade some abilities, not a lot, since I've mostly just been unlocking stuff. And then that's really it. So, we'll talk to Teclis and see what he has to say about us not really pulling anybody out of the sewers since they all got dragged further away or killed.
There is no time to waste. Even as we speak, the cultists could be preparing to sacrifice their captives. We cannot let them succeed.
They won't. By oak and ash, I swear it.
The enemy will do everything in their power to keep you from reaching the captives in time. Choose your battles wisely. Now go, and good hunting.
Back to the sewers! Oh, neat. I have those unlocked. What up, cultists? It's your boy. Back in the sewers again with a new fire mixtape. I did manage to upgrade my bow so it deals more damage.
You saved my life. Maybe one day I'll do the same for you.
Doubt it. This kind of sucks because I want to loot all the stuff here, but having an actual time limit means I can't. Oh cool, now I deal damage over time. That's neat. It's also really useful. Yeah, like, I want to scout all this because I need the gear. That's the big thing for me. It's not as much the gold as it is the equipment. Because I need just far better everything. Oh, that's the Demon Hunter's rapid fire. Except it's free and actually gives me energy, which is, and to me, it's admittedly goofy because I know the power of such an ability. Especially on a crit build, you'd be able to just flatten dudes. Go, attack Dryad. I'm definitely going to build this character out as a summoner. Even though it's probably to some degree suboptimal. I just think for boss fights it's going to be a lot more useful to be able to kind of outrun enemies. Or at least distract them with a bunch of little minions. Oh yeah, nice tree of Nurgle here. Yeah, don't you like how they're completely ignoring my Dryad? You know, the unit that's actively attacking them at this moment, they're just like, eh. Oh, I guess my progress with my... my Dwarf Engineer carried over, which gives me the 2 rage pools. That's cool. A little... I can't even say it's overpowered because the rage stuff's useful, but it's not... It's definitely not something where I'm like, oh man, this is, you know, the be-all, end-all, you're gonna stomp with this. It just kind of exists. Good to open up on weak enemies or really strong enemies, then build it back up. Yeah, as I'm recording this, it's only a couple days away from the release of the Warden and the Paunch DLC for Total War Warhammer 2, which some people already have access to it, and I watched a bit, and it looks pretty good. I mean, I'm genuinely happy about the green skin rework because they desperately needed to be revamped. Their whole design was just... it just wasn't good. There was so little for that faction. Like, the scrap mechanic I think is going to be cool. I don't know all the buildings and techs, but I hope there's stuff that gives you more... that gives you at least some passive scrap gen. Because I feel like the units are going to need to be upgraded through that. Granted, I didn't see a lot of YouTubers really focus on that. They're like, hey, the pump wagons, which are cool and actually pretty useful. They seem like chariots that don't suck. And at least some of them, or maybe all of them, are expendable. Which is great, because expendable trait means that their death doesn't affect the morale of nearby allies. So you can just throw them in, and if they die, they die.
I won't forget this, friend. Thank you. You saved my life. Thank you.
You saved my life. Maybe one day I'll do the same for you.
But it's pretty cool. And then the stuff for Torre of Rest, like people have said, it's you're Batman, effectively. Except you're Batman who also isn't afraid to kill a guy, which is interesting. I think Torre of Rest will be an interesting faction. The fog mechanic, or the mist mechanic, that's going to be real interesting. It makes me hope that... so, there's a mod, it's... god, it's like ZNO or something like that. It's Lost Factions. And it adds the Chaos Dwarves, the Dawizar, adds Albion, it adds Araby, adds, I think, the Border Princes as an actual faction, and I want to say Dogs of War. It might add a couple of others, but those are the ones that stood out to me. And I'm hoping that mist mechanic will get incorporated into Albion, because Albion's really cool, being essentially Celts. So you can have guys painted in woad and giant creatures made out of the bodies of people who've died in the peat bogs, and all this cool stuff. And it makes Albion not just a starting location for Nakai the Wanderer. Because I'll be honest, that's a dumb spot for Nakai to spawn. Because in Mortal Empires, it puts him in such a just terrible position. He has no allies. Yes, he's gonna have a lot of like Croxagors and stuff at the start to take down like the Empire, or to take on the Norskins, but it puts them still in such a dangerous position, and it doesn't help that Nikai's mechanics suck. Like, oh hey, he's gonna be what is he? A horde. It's like, okay, Lizardmen horde. We can work with that. Oh, every building he claims you dedicate to one of 3 kind of faction or like alignment things, and you get rewards. Okay, that's kind of cool. Oh, by the way, when you claim these places, they get handed off to a vassal state of yours. Oh, okay. By the way, the vassal state's incredibly incompetent. Oh. Also, if anyone attacks the vassal state, you get dragged into the fight. It's like, oh. Why?
I won't forget this, friend. Thank you.
Like playing Nikai, just everything I've seen for playing him just does not look fun. Because instead of being able to just romp around busting heads, it's like, okay, I gotta go babysit my dumbass idiots who own my towns because they're too incompetent and either start wars with people, or I don't even know if they can actually build stacks, or if they literally just rely on the defenses they get in their cities. That shows you, 1, how little people play them, and 2, how little those towns
He
last.
is slain. He is slain.
Oh, that sucks. Nikai was just a bad choice. Like, as a faction, cool. As a character, cool. In his overall design layout, very trash.
Don't have the energy.
And then it's cool seeing, like, the Chaos Dwarves get added. Oh, they also had the halflings who live in the Moot, which is essentially the Shire. That's the one I forgot. Because then they get the ability to use, like, a steam tank that shoots soup.
He is.
And they have... Oh, and the Famir. It's like, Cyclopean guys who look like the bad guys in Dark Crystal. Skeksis, I think it is. They kind of look like them, but Cyclopses. And they're another faction, and that's really cool because it gives more. I think they spawn up in the north, which honestly the Norskin starts are terrible. It's just you beating on each other for God knows how long. Oh, and there's also a group of, like, trolls. Not what's his nuts for Norska, Throg, but a different troll. Which is pretty cool. Either way, I'm excited because it's like, hey, more trolls, more factions. I do hope for Warhammer 3 that they... Because I think they're going to go into the Chaos Wastes, which is north of Norska, which would be reasonable, because otherwise if they go east, then they're going to have to start introducing Cathay and Ind and potentially Nippon, depending on how far they go. But if they go north, then they're going to have to extend, hopefully, to the west and give, like, the Dark Elves more to deal with, because the Hung and whoever else are pretty pathetic enemies. Teclis, I saved some people and other people died. What's up?
Forgive me, High Lawmaster. Many of the captives have been freed, but I could not save them all.
It was too much to hope that you could save them all, Elessa. The cultists gained a measure of power from their sacrifices, but it could have been much worse. We must not let them gain too great an advantage over us. Return to me as soon as you are ready. I will have a new task for you.
Yay, XP and money. And now he's gone, so now I gotta go find him to get the next quest. It'd be kind of funny if you're like, hey, I couldn't save all the people, if he was just like, yeah, sucks to suck, don't it? And then he just dabs. Screen turns black and he vanishes. That'd honestly probably be the most insulting thing, just, yeah, shit sucks, dab. Let me bounce. Give me that stacked bow. And better pants. Ooh, rare gloves. With a bunch of stuff. Rare knife. And now I get to give everything else away. Teclis, why didn't you tell me this mission before heading here?
Since the attack, we have been on the defensive, reacting to the enemy's plans. That ends now. We must seek out and destroy the cult's source of power if we are to end its reign of terror here in Nuln.
How do we find it?
The cult must have camps scattered throughout the sewers. Find one and capture its leader. He will tell us what we need to know.
Oh, I forgot to tweak my skills. Let's check that quick. What did I unlock? Okay, so I can upgrade that. I can upgrade the whirly blade thing that doesn't do a whole hell of a lot. I mean, I got the points. I might as well just say forget it and just dump everything right now. I can start getting real particular about things after. You know, I can probably get rid of these two and start tricking out other stuff. I do hope for Warhammer 3 they have like chaos demons, but then each lord is a different one. So it's like, hey, you can have a corn-oriented lord, and you could even have like different restrictions and things, like you can't get chaos sorcerers playing as the corn lord or demon, or you could have like a Slaneshi one, and there's different requirements and different limits. This way each playthrough feels a bit more different than normal. I mean, with what's coming out with Grom the Paunch and Elven Batman, like Torre Vress is really different with their unit abilities, and some units, from what I can tell, are effectively bound to just the, like, they're just bound to that lord, so no one else can get them. I'm just really interested in that mist effect, because I don't know if it's going to only cover Lothern, or if it can cover all your territory. Admittedly, having it does attrition damage if you upgrade it, and I feel like that's how all the influence things like vampire corruption and stuff, all the corruption mechanics, that's how they should be. And I feel like I think the Wood Elves should have a form of corruption. so that when they take over cities, it's not like, oh, build a crap outpost that you're gonna forget about. For Amber, it should be like, hey, depending on your level of corruption here, you will have access to different things. So if you have low corruption, you can't build much outside of like a really low rent outpost. So I think that would give... it would at least give Wood Elves a bit more of an ability to expand, even though they start out with like 10-slot locations, because they're not really intended to expand very far. But I feel like realistically they probably would start expanding if everything just went to hell and back. They'd just be like, look, we're just gonna force the woods to expand. We have our waystones protecting us. And that could even be part of it, is having to build waystones or place them throughout the world to kind of expand your influence. Just an interesting mechanic you could do to make the faction a bit more interesting. Oh yeah, I can summon things. I forgot my Dryad existed. As I was running around there, I was like, man, why didn't my Dryad do anything? And it's below. It is funny. Yay, explaining bloodlust. But it's funny when you're looking for, like, a Skaven settlement. And it's like, huh, I wonder if the Skaven are here. You cursor over the area, 100% Skaven corruption, only ruins in the area. It's like, I don't fully know for sure. But yeah, the Lost Faction mod was super cool. Getting a ton of stuff like Araby. You could use... they essentially like reworked war mammoths and made them into just war elephants. You had guys with Jezzails, you had genies and Ifrits. It just makes me wish that Creative Assembly would actually just nut up and release Araby as a faction. I get they're like, no, we're not gonna do it, but come on. You're gonna add all these other factions and then just be like, nope, not these guys. Can't do that, chief. It's like, why? Like, just make it DLC. Unless your concern is the size of the map being too small to add even more factions, which I would actually understand. But then my counter argument would be, improve your tech. Like, just make your tech better, or figure out a way to fit everybody. There are ways you can do this stuff and not have to worry. Plus, I feel like making the map a bit bigger wouldn't hurt, because honestly, there's a lot of stuff, like, within Empire lands, there should be, if we were talking make it as big as I want, there would be a Athel-Loren or larger sized area where beastmen roam, because they're a big problem for Forest Todbringer, and it just seems kind of weird that they just don't even start up there. You find all of them starting down in like Estalia and Telia, south of Bretonia. It's like, okay, I mean, it's a starting location, but the only major factions in that area are Bretonia. In Bretonia, you have, at least for Mortal Empires, there's Clan Scryer. You, for Skaven, and I think Skaven Blight, you have... trying to think who else. To the northeast, you have Clan Angrind. To the north, you have... or, well, it's east-northeast is Clan Angrind. To the northeast, you have the Wood Elves. North is Bretonia. There's kind of northeast, you know, instead of, it's like in the middle of those areas. Just north of Clan Angrid, you have Crooked Moon, so Skarsnik. Then, who else is around? Southeast, you have Aranessa. Like, there's enemies, but like the direct Estalia Telia area is just them and their minor factions. So you just kind of roll over them anyways. I saw one mod that made Beastmen really good because it gave them the ability to colonize places, but it was setting up like I think it was like a Braystone or something. Essentially just a little building to claim and be like, hey, you can recruit some guys here. Kind of like the mod for, I think it was Grimhammer / Steel Faith Overhaul, that gave Chaos the ability to take over certain locations and make chaos forts out of them, which hopefully will come as a rework of the Forces of Chaos come Warhammer 3, because like Tower of Karak in Norscan lands, that's supposed to be a chaos fort, and it would be nice to see that actually be actualized, because otherwise it's just a minor settlement no one cares about. Trolls, or not trolls, giants need to be looked at. I know, like, every person I watch is just like, yeah, don't bother with, like, chaos giants or really any giant. They suck. And I'm like, oh, come on. Why do they have to be bad? Especially because it's like, oh, well, there's a unit in similar size that's just all around better. I'm like, couldn't they at least have made it so there's some unique, useful thing about giants? Maybe drop them a tier, make them good low-end guys, or like low-end monstrous units, or something like that. Just to get some good use out of them, otherwise they just feel like a pointless addition to armies. Almost like you're intentionally gimping yourself. Quick, is there anything better? That ring. Better boots. Better pants. We'll stick with this because this gives me loot quality, so I'll get better loot. Yeah, let's find this chaos camp. Found it.
I smell elf flesh! Kill the unbeliever!
That's pretty sick. I like how it seems to be, as I level up, I get some additional, like, moves while in Bloodlust. Let's see, anything good? Did I pick up anything useful, please? Slightly better pants? Alright, that's it. What's up?
Rot, you elf! May the Lord of Pestilence turn your guts to slime!
Silence, Chaos Filth! Speak when you're spoken to, or you'll get another taste of elven steel.
The voice acting is just so weird for the elf. Like, it doesn't... At least with, like, Total War Warhammer, the Wood Elves sound kind of like what you'd expect a Wood Elf to sound like. Or Vermintide, or anything like that. Offload everything. Not leveling up as fast now. Teclis, I kidnapped a guy.
I have brought you a prisoner, High Lawmaster. An Ungor from the dark forests to the north.
No, I thought he was from Miami.
Leave him to me. I'll have the answers I seek, one way or another. Return to me when you are ready. All will be made clear then.
Okay, I'm ready. I have to go access my personal stash. But this is a good time to call it. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to hit the like button. Helps out the channel a lot. If you're new, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.